I want to thank our recruiting department and Butler Benton and Charlie Williams and Brian Overton and Maddie Poole and these guys, Karina. They all did a wonderful job of putting this class together. We signed 19 high school players, 4 out of the transfer portal. Early signings. We had 13 on defense, 10 on offense, 6 defensive backs, 4 D linemen, 4 offensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, a running back, and a tight end. We signed guys from 10 different states, 3 from the state of Arkansas, in Jacoby Criswell, Quincy Rhodes, and Joey Sua. 16 of the 23 December signees are coming in early, so they'll be here in January. Currently, we're in the top 25 in 247 and top 7 and 17th in rivals. And I'm really excited about the guys that we have coming in. We still have another guy or 2 that we're on in high school, and the rest of our scholarship will be used for, in the transfer portal. With that, I'll take whatever questions you have.
Coach, talk about, you got 4 kids you talked about out of the portal. Talk about, can you just detail a little bit of each on all 4 of those kids, plus January 4th through the 8th visit period that they've allowed? Will that be a pretty big weekend for you?
The 4th through the 8th will be, I'm going to tell you, it should, and it needs to be anywhere from 6 to 12 kids on campus. And now we have to be position specific and all those type things, but we have some scholarships available, and certainly we feel like we can change the depth and the team in that period. It's obviously the first time they've allowed it to happen, and but we are excited about that period as well. Armstrong was the guy we saw out of Texas A&M Commerce, had a lot of catches, big, long guy, can run. We had him on campus maybe a couple of weeks ago, and really a super kid. We need help there at wide receiver. We need some older help as well, even though I'm very excited about our young guys on our team. So we decided to take him, and we were obviously excited to get him. Josh Braun is a guy that I recruited at Georgia. We had him committed there at Georgia. I left, came to Arkansas. About the next day, I think he decommitted from Georgia, went to Florida, played a lot of ball. I think he's played over 800 snaps over there at Florida. And I knew him, his family. I knew what we were getting there pretty much from all the recruiting out of high school. And so we signed him. Jacoby Criswell, I got him. I didn't get him the first time, wanted him. Went over there to Morrilton, and I was too late. I had 5 or 6 days, one time to go over there, and North Carolina done a good job, and I could not recruit him in a day or a week, but we got him this time, so we're really glad about that. And John Morgan is a pass rusher, defensive end. Really like his tape. I think he's a dynamic player. Came in last weekend, and basically he said he wanted to be a Hog today. And so obviously we've got the paper sent out to him and those things.
I got one more quick one on Chris. Well, he told me after he committed to you, he told me that one thing he made sure of when you came down the first time, that you guys partied on great terms, with respect and everything. And he said he remembered that you came after him late like that. How much did it mean to you, even telling you he was loyal to North Carolina? Loyalty is something he had. Just what did that mean to you? I mean, his character and stuff, Sam.
Well, he's a great kid and great parents, great folks that are taking care of him and have. And it's really cool because he's so mature. He loves Arkansas. He when he got in the portal, he immediately, contacted us, we were ecstatic about him. Obviously, we knew we needed to upgrade there at quarterback, and so we did. And he wants to play. Obviously, he knows he's going to have to compete here and things of that nature. But we needed him, and just really happy that he decided to come back.
Which I wanted to ask you about your other quarterback signee, Malachi Singleton, kind of been described as a running back in a quarterback's body, or excuse me, a quarterback in a running back's body, other way around. What can you tell us about him? And you guys obviously had him committed for a long time.
Yeah, I really liked him. We had it down to about 3 quarterbacks, and I liked him. I thought he fit us well. I think he was the best running back they had on their team, and when he took the ball. But it was about toughness. He went out to some camp and finished in the top 10 or somewhere around there as a quarterback. Can throw it, but I just liked him because of his competitiveness and his toughness. He got hurt and got a foot injury in high school this past season, but. You go over and some of the teams that he's playing against, Buford and all that, and they're rocking him. I mean, they're knocking the heck out of him. He's just getting up, and he's doing the same to them. I thought what we're doing with Kendall Briles' offense, I thought he was going to be perfect for what we did, and he'll be a good player here for us.
With a couple of coaching staff changes, with NIL the way it is and stuff, it's always been a hectic week and stuff, but is it add just another level of trying to make sure everything's in order leading up to this day, just kind of the chaos of it all?
Yeah, I mean, it really was, Trey. I mean, you lose coaches in there, and then it's really a new wave of portal right now because NIL's involved with it as well. So it's a different wave. I'm not the only coach that's dealing with it. But when you do lose a couple of coaches in that as well, and you're worried about getting the coaches hired, so the kids that are committed to you, it's not just that anymore. It's not just the ones that are committed to you, holding them on. It's the ones that are on your team, and you're trying to hold them off of guys calling and trying to get them to switch schools and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's a lot easier for them to leave when there's air as their position coach, and so those things, but you don't want to hire too fast because you want to make sure you get the right hire. There's a lot of things that go into it. And, with the bowl practice as well, we had bowl practice this morning. For us to do what we've done in this class and be, I think in rivals it's the highest class since 2009 and be in the top 25 and all that with the coaches, with what's going on right now. I'm real pleased with where we are, and I'm really ready to attack this portal. I'm ready to attack it. We know exactly what we need to change our football team. Arkansas has a wonderful name out there, and we have scholarships available. And so we're going to attack that part of it and hopefully get more than, I think we have 16 that's going to be here in January, and it could be as many as 26 or so come in for the team for spring ball. And I'm really excited about that. But yeah, it's really, I think everybody's going through the same thing. But yeah, it's been a lot of stuff going on.
You've kind of touched on this with us over the last couple of weeks, but the areas you want to attack in the portal, where all you feel like you got to supplement?
Well, I think we need to get another lineman. We need to get a tight end. Certainly wide receivers, we may need 2 or 3 coming out of there. Defensive backs, we've got to get a few. Linebackers, I really like our line. All these guys on our team I like, but we just don't have any depth. And with the guys leaving and with guys going to the NFL and things of that nature. But linebackers there, and I think we've got the pass rusher that will help the pass rushers that we have. But I think we probably need to go inside and get another big man as well. So that's probably talking about 10 or 12 guys, and we have those scholarships available.
The current state of college recruiting, and you say, well, I like our frontline guys, but we need depth. Is that going to be a yearly thing because of the portal?
Yeah. If you think about it, let's think about it real quick. Okay. If you have the portal and it's open and you can go wherever you want, whenever you want to, and someone can pay you to go. Okay. Where's your depth going to? Well, if you really look at it, if you're not a starter, your depth is coming from your freshman class. I mean, that's where it's coming from. It's amazing now because an older guy that's not starting, he believes he can leave your school and start somewhere else, and so I think the depth of teams is going to change a little bit because, again, if you've got a 2-3 year player that, listen, I don't want to say this with all of them because there's a lot of them that stay and continue to work and all that. But if you got a second, third year player that's not starting, someone is convincing him at another school that he's going to come and be the best sliced bread at their place. And so he's going to transfer. And so I think the better we do in high school recruiting, I think the least problems we'll have. But I'm not really, I said problem, I'm not really looking at this as a problem. We have some scholarships available to go change our team, and that's what we're going to do.
Along those same lines, when you talk about going and changing your team, when you attack the portal, how do you balance going after guys that are immediate impact guys that can help right away, maybe with just 1 year left, like Morgan, or guys that maybe are developmental guys that need, have a couple of years left of eligibility?
I think it works two ways. I think you're talking to the recruit coming in, and you're talking to your own team. I mean, I think our team finally understands that we're not going in the portal to put them on a bench. I mean, we're going in the portal for competition, and we're going in the portal because we just don't have enough scholarship players at their position. I think in the past it's been, well, they go into the portal and all of a sudden this guy's going to start. Now, we have been good at signing guys that's come in and helped us in the portal. I get all that, but it's not necessarily always that way, and so I think you have to talk to your own team first and say, hey, we got 4 linebackers on scholarship. I mean, 7 now, but we had 4 linebackers. I mean, you need to go get some linebackers. Do I think Paul can play, and Crook can play, and Powell and Woodard and them? Yes, but injuries happen in this game. We need players to help us on special teams and all those things. So you have to go in the portal. I think the first thing is you got to educate your own team, because I think at times they look at it as, you're going into a portal, I'm not good enough. And I think that's happened in the past, but we're trying to educate the team to let them know, hey, that we're trying to get the best team we can get. And certainly you've got to compete. You've competed to this point, and you have to compete, and the guys coming in do as well.
You kind of touched on this a little bit, but you've had a lot of these guys in place, your high school kids in place for several months now.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of highly touted guys that other schools were coming after at the end. You did lose a couple, but how stressful was it these last couple of weeks trying to keep the class together?
Again, I think guys, they have a right to do whatever they want to. My only disappointment was, we found out late, and when you find out, and a lot of that had to do with coaching changes and things of that nature. But when you find out that late, it's hard to go out and replace, when it's 3 or 4 days from signing date and things of that nature. But I get it. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying it was unfortunate. But I'm happy for the guys that decided they want to go. If they want to go somewhere else, that's more. But I'm more excited about the 19 that came to us and 4 guys in the portal. And I wish the guys that, decide to go somewhere else the best and all that kind of stuff. But I'm awful happy with the ones that decided to come and stay with us. And, the Has brothers was a big thing, that Luke and those guys stayed with us. And there was the best teams in the country coming after them, and they decided, and I want to thank their parents. I mean, their parents had a lot to do with that. They held it together. We lost Dow, and those things. And I'm sure they were trying to recruit him over at South Carolina once he got the job, and all those type things. And those are hard for kids. Those are hard situations for kids to be in.
Sam, earlier you said you really liked John Morgan's tape. For people who haven't maybe watched him, what jumped out, or what are they going to like about him?
He's quick twist. He's known for sacks, going to get the quarterback. But the thing I like about him is that he plays extremely hard all the time. If you put on his tape, he plays hard. But he's had a lot of production in his career. Decided for whatever reason to leave Pittsburgh, and I know they've got a fine program out because I know their coach, and I know he's a heck of a football coach, and I know they do it right. So it wasn't because of anything negative. Yeah, he maybe wanted a different, like some of our guys that went in the portal, they want a new fresh start or something of that nature. But I really liked him because he plays extremely hard. I think he can get after the quarterback.
I think you signed 3 guys from Georgia. I think I counted that right. And you have a lot of guys from Georgia. Obviously, you have ties to Georgia, and you have guys on your staff. What do you think of those Georgia kids? And is that something going to be an annual thing, probably where you're getting 2, 3 guys out of Georgia?
We do want to continue to go into the state of Georgia. A lot of players in there. I'm looking right quick. I'm sorry. Obviously, Ian, big nose guard over there. He ended up, when you go in here and you take pictures, and you dress up and all that kind of stuff. He did a handstand and walked around out here on his hands at about 370. And I go, okay, I don't know if he's going to cost me 2 scholarships, but I want him. A big man that was just moving around. I don't know what he was doing, but that was really exciting. RJ Johnson is over from Eagles Landing. Great parents, and Eagles Landing is one of the premier private schools, over there in the Atlanta area. And then Malachi, Singleton, obviously. And so, yeah, we have made a conscious effort into Georgia. I will tell you this, getting Travis Williams, we're going to make a little bit more of an effort into Florida as well, since he, was at UCF and knows a little bit more about that region than a lot of our coaches do. We will never leave Georgia because it's been good to us, but we may expand a little bit more into Florida.
Coach on Morgan, he told me when he left here, he was going to sign commit after the national championship game. Did Travis play? And I know Deke did a good job on him. Did Travis Williams play a role in that too? Kind of what happened to he moved it up 2 or 3 weeks. Kind of what happened there?
Well, yeah, that's it. You're exactly right. Not always are y'all right, by the way, but you're right on that one. And, I'm teasing, not really, but kind of. We flew over there, Deke had contacted him, obviously I liked his tape, and Deke had set it up, and we flew over there and spoke with him. We were trying to get on the back half of another university's official visit, and we did. And so when he got here, I think he really liked it. When he landed, I had not hired a defensive coordinator yet, and I kept telling him in the home on Monday, I believe, of that week, hey, I'll have a guy by the time you get there. And I hadn't. So we did hire Travis. Travis, once we did, he got on the phone with him and started talking to him. And then we flew Travis in. And so he was able to sit and talk to him on Sunday of the visit. And so that certainly helped us. And so Travis had a big part to do with it. I think Deke Adams, which he's been kind of a bulldog in recruiting. He's been out there and getting some really fine players in that room. And but that's kind of how it happened. Yes, T. Will happened to ours. In other words, the coach that was recruiting him left, didn't feel possibly that he had enough time for a relationship with the new, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just wait and sign the next time. You have 20 days basically to go on campus once a week. You can go see them and all those things. I think we would, Trey, I think we would, but here's what I want you to know about the team. I feel really good about our team, the ones that are still here. I do. If I didn't, I think the answer would be all of them would be portal. You know what I mean? But I feel good about our football team. We have to go on the portal for some age, for some experience too. But if I was saying positions, we may sign a younger, a secondary guy because we have several scholarships that we feel like we're committing back there. And we may keep some, Trey, to kind of look at our new guys coming in and maybe have it 1 or 2, 3 maybe left in April, which at that point we may be one of those few schools that have some left, and we could possibly get some after the spring too. Isn't it crazy? You're talking about signing, you're talking about recruiting in January. We just had a signing date. You have another signing date in February. The portal closes the 18th. The portal opens April 15th, closes back May the 1st. And you have June visits, and then you go again, and bam, here comes the portal opens up again. And so you better have some scholarships. Now, you don't want to be holding the bag, you don't want to be sitting there with holding 3 scholarships. And, but I do think we need to maybe save 1 or 2 for April, after April 15th.
So we saw with Eric Gregory, the arthroscopic and coming back. How do you feel about him? And that funnels into, you said that you want him back. How many spots might you leave open for super seniors, Eric Gregory's and those kinds of guys?
Well, Eric, we anticipated him being a little bit better. I mean, it's been 23 days. So for a scope. So we were anticipating him, to be healthy. Now he's close, and I think he'll be healthy for the bowl, but he's close. With that said, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I think we may have 4 super seniors, maybe. I think in that area that I believe will come back.
Gonna wait for them to announce their.
Oh, you know how it is. I mean, they love to, I guess I'd been the same way if I was a kid, you can't anymore. You can't decommit from a school and just sign, you got to decommit and say I'm decommitting and then sign the next day. And there's just a lot of different things that go on right now that a lot of things going on.
Of the 19 high school kids you signed today, I'm curious if there's maybe one side of the ball or one position group in particular you think might be able to have a chance to make an immediate impact, earlier.
I like our DBs. I like them. I like those guys. I like Braxton and Metcalf and those guys, Johnson. And, I like that group. I missed one. I missed 2. Has and Ford. I like that group. 6. I think we signed a good back end group, and obviously Luke would be a guy that we hope can come in and help us. Physically, he's ready to do that. He's strong. Comes from Bigsby. I mean, Dylan's same way. Dylan was hurt a little bit, and so he's got to get back his weight. But I think he'll help us, especially special teams early. He can really run. I think the secondary. I think that's probably the most intriguing. We signed some good looking linebackers as well, and then of course I'm high on Quincy and James and Big Ian and all these guys on the defensive front. I'm sure I missed somebody, but they're already signed. I guess they get mad at me, but they've already signed right now. And then wide receiver wise, Dozier really he's a great athlete. He's going to have to come in and help us, and of course, Isaiah was Under Armour All-American, at running back. And so there'll be some guys, but I don't know. I'm excited about the class. I'll tell you that. And especially, the ones that we have an opportunity, 16 of them that we have an opportunity to go spring ball with. I think we'll really know more about our team at that point.
And earlier you said you might add another offensive lineman from the portal. I guess Braun is more of an offensive guard. Are you looking at maybe a tackle, or does it just kind of matter best available?
I think, to be honest with you, best available is probably the coach answer that I should give you. The honest answer is I think we need another guy that can snap the football, sort of like the NFL, where they'll keep, 8 guys. But if you play guard, you better be able to play center. I don't know that would be Braun's forte. It might be, but I never thought of him in that aspect when I recruited him. Tennis in high school, he might be able to do it. I don't know, but I think you can't have enough snappers. And with losing Luke Jones, he was obviously a go-to guy as well. So we may look at somebody that can play center guard combination.
Maybe a little bit off the wall, but you mentioned the Ian Regard handstand story. Are there any others like that kind of came about throughout the recruiting process with some of these kids, or just maybe other instances of personality?
Man, I can't remember. I mean, the recruiting staff put a new jukebox, or it was really kind of a boom box in there for pitchers. I kind of thought that was a neat idea. The kids liked it. But recruiting stories, I don't know right off the top of my head. I'll think about it. Now ask me again next week or something.
What would you like to your reaction?
It was unbelievable. I'm like, what? I mean, he just did it. And he started walking, or handing, or whatever you call it. And I was like, he was so light on his feet for 300 and closer to 4, and I was like, my Lord. But I'm really, really excited about him because we don't have anybody like him. We don't have a great big guy like that, like Georgia had, before, where you just can't move the guy. And so, no, let me think about it. And I'm so sorry I can't answer the question.
Recruiting in-home visits, not a good time to be on a diet or anything.
Lord.
Do you have any interesting meal stories, anything interesting that you ate, or
Well, we
have
went
to eat a whole bunch at a time?
We went 5 home visits in a row one day, and 5 of them had food. Well, I like to eat, shocker. And 5 of them in a row now, that's a beast. After number 3, you loosen a belt loop, you know what I mean? And then you still got 2 more to go. And everybody was so kind and so happy. We did the 23 visits in a 5.5 day. That's a lot of homes, a lot of eating, a lot of caring, a lot of great people. But I think we did it the right way too, Trey, going, trying to get the 23 home visits. We held on to most all of them. And then go in the portal for the other weeks. The plan was to go in all high schools, but it's impossible to keep that plan with the portal as it is open, because the kids aren't going to just commit to you at their house. They have to come and see the university. Sometimes those are on Monday, sometimes Tuesday, Wednesday. And so I think we'll do it again that same way. But yeah, there was a lot of eating, and especially that first week, a lot of fun, a lot of going into school, a lot of travel.
Anything that you never eaten before, or anything interesting?
Well, as you could tell, there ain't a whole lot that I haven't. Well, yeah, I think there was something green there. It looked like somebody said it was a salad or something. I did try that. That was probably my first time, but no, I can't remember. Last year, went up and had crab legs and all that kind of stuff up in Wisconsin, with Stein's folks, and it was, I don't know what it was, but it was incredible, whatever it was. But the people our family that we went in to see, they were incredibly nice. And, it's important you go into their home. It's important. You need to know where they're from. You need to know, you need to see their bedroom. You need to understand more about these kids. That way you can help them more and you can understand when they have problems. That's the most part. I like to go to the home. I want to know where they come from. I want to have an understanding there. And I believe we can help them more if we do know where they came from.
Augustave, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
you guys did a good job of identifying him early. He kind of
Yeah,
shot up the
he
recruiting
did.
rankings later. What about him that stood out to you, I guess, when you were evaluating him? And obviously running backs can play very early.
He had two. They had two on Naples on that team. I think one of them might have committed to Penn State, maybe, or something. They had two really good running backs on that team. And his style was a slicer, I would say. Speed guy. His offense that they ran, kind of a wing T-ish veer type offense. But you could see he had the speed. He was tough. It was Arkansas, and you're right. I got worried about him. Each week he's kind of doing boom, boom, boom. The stars are going up, all American teams, all this kind of stuff. And, Jimmy Smith, I don't ever have a problem out of Jimmy Smith's room. None. He handles all that. And I don't ever have a problem with his recruiting. When he gets it an evaluation, it's darn good. And we hit the jackpot on this one too. You can tell a lot about a kid, when he stays loyal to you too. And there was everybody coming in there, and I talked about Hazes and there's a lot of them. But when there's a lot of people start beating down your door and you're going, no, 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 no. That's a pretty special kid, pretty special recruiter. But I like the slicing, the dice, and he's a slasher, and the physicality of his runs. Obviously, he has to have speed, but he's going to be a big back. He's tall, and he's going to be a big back that has speed. I think he's perfect for what we do offensively.
Hey, Coach, Joey Sua, local kid from up
Yeah.
Just what do you remember from recruiting him and what excites you about what?
Well, I love Joey and his mom and dad. Recruiting wise, to be perfectly honest with you, the first word that come to my mind is easy. You don't get many of those, where you offer a young man a scholarship after you've watched him and, mom and dad, okay. And then how true they stayed to us. Very religious family, really great people. I remember they were on an official visit and, because they played in the state championship game, obviously. And it was on official visit. And I said, well, I'm going to come see you on whatever day it was. Well, we're here, you don't have to do that. And I said, yes, I do, have really good feed. I think there's a lot of positives about him because of the kid that he is, where he comes from. Again, another reason to go see people. But I think he's very, very athletic for his size. And I think with Cody and him, I think they'll gel well, and he'll be a fine player for us. I'm awful glad we got him.
I was also going to ask you about Joey. I think he committed at 6:16 in the morning, announced his commitment. Have you ever had a kid announce that early, his commitment? And then also, I think he's a move-in, so he's not originally from here, even though he's an in-state guy. How did he kind of pop up on your radar? And was it surprising how easy it was considering that?
Marcus Nannenhauer, who played here, and of course his brother's the offensive coordinator over there, but Marcus called me about him, said, hey, I think we got a pretty good ball player here. He did move in. And so, that helps with former players, and they know what we're looking for as well. So I thought that was a big deal. And what was the first part was, oh yeah. I had one when I was at North Carolina, and I just said, hey, he said, I'm going to commit to you, or I'm going to make my decision tomorrow, and I said, well, I want to call me as early as you can, this, that, and other. And he did a 12:01 one, and I said, what are you doing? And I was on vacation. And he said, you told me as early as I could, tomorrow. And it was 12:01. So I was happy I got the call, but A little bit mad too, to be honest with you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, everybody.